I'm good. We've only been talking for the last 20 minutes because you couldn't get the fucking thing up, but okay. Let's get this out of the way early. You have I've got a goblet of wine, okay? I'm drinking wine, and you got Crown and Coke, which is wait, that's Crown Reserve, right? Yeah, but Noble Clutch. Yeah. So that's like really expensive Crown, and you're putting fucking Coke in it, right? You put Coca-Cola in it. Diet Coke, what? Diet what? Diet Coke. I told you. Okay, why don't you just get like the shittiest whiskey you can if you're gonna put Diet Coke in it? At least I got a couple of. I'm like I'm like fucking Tyrion Lannister. Okay, I love wine and tits. Okay, I'm not sure which one I love more. Wine and tits. Right? No, 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 no. I'm not a pimp. No, I'm I'm old. I'm old. I'm not old school. Old school. That's all I am. I've been around a long fucking time. That's what it means. Yeah, really long, and well before I even got to Houston. As a matter of fact, I'm old, yeah, bro. Now, see, I still got black hair. My brother is all white. I got black hair going on, and that's not even. I don't even dye or nothing like that. But yeah, I've been doing this a long time. Not very good. I'm not very honestly. It's just I don't know how. You know what you do? Here's the secret. If you get in the fucking media, just bullshit as much as possible. I got something for you that I never told you. I was doing that show, the Prime poker show on Thursday nights, and me and Steve from Prime Social, we did two shows. And the second show, right before they got shut down, right? The second show, that we had a comedian in there, and he said he opened for you, or you opened for him. And his wife worked at Prime. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm trying to remember here.
She actually worked at Prime. She's a cute girl, but he said I opened for Barry, or Barry opened for me. I asked him, can you come and do something for me? It was a Saturday night. I think it was in Sugarland somewhere. Anyway, he said it was the worst mistake I ever made. Because Barry was so fucking good. And I was like, wait a
Okay,
minute.
I thought you were fucking with me at first. I thought you were like, letting that stupid son of a bitch be on a show was the worst mistake ever. Okay.
No. He said you were so much better. He said it was the worst. You never let a better comedian open for you. Because when I got out there, I was like, fuck, this is terrible. I'm terrible. He said you were, and I said, Barry on the with Joel. He said, "Yep." He said he is funny, and I was
Oh,
like, "Wow, I've never seen you do stand up, but are you? You know what?
when are you going to
Your
come to a
Twitter
show,
handle
John?
is at Barry is funny.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I mean, that's what I'm told. Um, you got. I guess if you're a comic or you make a living trying to be funny, you better be funny if you're going to pick your handle as Barry is funny, right?
Barry is
Like,
funny,
you better
right?
be fucking
I,
funny. Now, of course, it opens it up for people to be like, Barry is not funny. And I've never heard that online from anyone
right?
ever. It's super
Yeah.
original.
Yeah. Never, no one.
No
All
one,
the funny guys out
no
there.
one did that at the poker tournament on Saturday. Nobody did that when I was ESPN Barry, and I'm thinking this dude's bluffing me, and so I'm bluffing a straight, and he goes, Barry isn't funny enough to have a straight. I was like, fuck you. He got bounced like 5 hands later. I loved it. I was like, I guess he wasn't
Yeah,
funny enough to keep playing, but
yeah. No ass.
yeah,
Right. Hey, get funnier, motherfucker.
yeah,
Right.
get funnier and better at
Right.
poker. If you let me
Right.
beat you at poker,
So
you suck.
anyway, I heard that you're really good. Now I've never seen you, right? Because you go all over.
Hmm.
You do all over, right?
I do local
Um,
and nationally,
if you,
correct.
if you ever do a show in Houston again,
Yes.
I will. I want to go and see
Do
you.
you
Now
promise you'll go? I'm gonna get you like VIP, all that shit, but you have to
I don't need that.
promise me you'll
What
go.
I need is what I need you to be is funny because I'll probably be shit faced, and I'll be. First of all, second thing I need to know now:
Okay.
how the fuck do you have your hair cut? Because I haven't had my hair cut in fucking 6 weeks. Okay, and you got it fucking
Yeah.
tight and.
Yeah.
Oh, you just do this, don't you?
No, there's no hair there, John. It's literally like that.
You are,
Yeah, I take the. So normally I go to a barber and have it like faded and all that shit, but I haven't been doing that since this Rona. So I just go out in the garage with some clippers because I used to cut my hair myself because it was just a buzz cut. I would just cut it all in length, very, very short. But yeah, I just go out in the garage, and in fact, I'm due this week. I'll go out in the garage and do it, and then I just take a razor like that I shave my face with, and then
No,
just
you do not.
just go across and make it nice and neat. That's it.
But well, I got Dr. Linville, and look,
Yeah. By the way, how is that? Are you digging it? Like,
fuck yeah,
it looks.
sucking. Are you kidding? I was like a mangy dog.
Were you?
I had spots all over, and I had a fucking giant 9-iron divot out of the back of my head.
Are you
And
and Fred like
Doc,
racing? Who can grow the most hair the fastest?
me, killing him. He's got no fucking chance. Have you seen that?
Got no
No, he's got no chance against me. Listen, 975hair.com. Okay,
Are you
want to be
really plugging shit on this live?
There could be. How many people are on?
I don't
let me
even
know.
I don't even know how many people are on. I'm trying this new thing where I have the chat window. Huh?
I need to know, so I'm going to charge Doc Linville. 975hair.com.
I mean,
All
at the end of the day, Johnny, given the fact that you're media royalty in this town, it'll probably be 500 to 1,000 views easily.
Listen, and this is the key. This I'm going to tell everybody out there. You want to be in the business?
Mm-hmm.
The key to business is not being good, not being entertaining. It's selling. Okay? Because you ain't going to be on if you don't sell. That's the key to this fucking. I'm telling you.
No, you're God.
It's because you make yourself valuable. So all of you out there that want to be in this business, listen, if nobody shows up to your shows, what happens?
Yeah, they don't
I'm
book
not
me.
booking you. I'm not booking you.
Correct.
I'm not. You know what? And with our show, if we don't have any advertisers, everybody's, you're pining for this. Of course I'm pining for them. That's my livelihood. We gotta sell, okay? So we're gonna sell. 975hair.com.
No, you know what? This is no bullshit. And the whole point of these live chats was just to talk about shit, like give people behind the scenes. Joel and I talked about how bad our show was at first behind the scenes and how we hated each other and fought, and we're just spilling the tea on everything. And you're right, because that's the one thing in this business I think I struggle with more than anything right now is I don't have a lot of reads and I don't have a lot of advertisers, but I'm not a good hustler. Like you go out and you meet people and you get people, and Joel does that, and everybody. Raheel is like one of the best, and I'm so bad at that. I literally just rely on the sales team, and everybody's like, "Bro, you're not going to be around if you do that," and it's so hard for me to figure that side of this business out.
It's funny. I mean, I thought we might delve into a little bit of background, but because I think it might be interesting for people. But there was a time, like I got a really good buddy, and he's rich and he has suites. And then the funny joke with me is I hang out with rich people, and I do. I got good friends, good friends. But my buddy he introduced me to so many people, and he introduced me to people that own businesses. And so I got to know them, and we hung out with them, and it actually put a little bit of strain on. I was a dad. I had young kids,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to be out at night. I had the Astros pre and post game show, and I had the radio show in the morning, and and I was out there, and I had to do it because I met so many people that my buddy introduced me. I owe a lot to my buddy. It's Chad Clay. I don't know if you know him.
I've heard the name several times.
Right. But he's got the floor seats at the Rockets, and he's got a suite and at the Astros, and a suite at the Texans. But I had to be out there because I met so many people. And Chad was like, "Hey, you need to advertise. John's got a great radio show, and you know John, and we got to know each other and everything else." And it was a way. And I told my wife, I said, this is what I have to do. I got to be out there. Yeah, I was getting shit faced all night and
Drinking and enjoying nice
but
seats.
and no women. I know never. No, there was no women involved in any of that shit. But it's what I had to do, and you have to make your livelihood somehow. And so I was out there, and I had to. I had so many relationships, and here's the thing too that's a key for this for those of you young ones out there or anybody else is when they like you, you're friends with them, and they're advertising with you. It's hard for them to say, "Hey, I got to pull the plug on this,"
Yeah.
because they're friends with you, and they're gonna go, well, you know what? It's hard, or business is hard, or whatever is going on. I like John. I don't want to do that, so I don't want to pull the plug on it. So, not that I was using my friends or anything else, but when you make relationships with people, and they advertise with you, and you keep relationships with them.
Because that's part of it is like I don't do that a lot. I don't go and hang out a lot. I'm not a very social guy. Despite, being on the radio and doing stand up and stuff. If I'm not doing those things, I'm at the house, and that's where I'm happiest usually is I don't go out a lot. But I do realize that is such a key part of this business. When you made that connect, was that just a friend of yours that happened to be connected? Or did you guys meet somewhere else and like he was like, oh, he recognized you from something and it kind of all fell into
It might have started
place?
that way, or it was just, hey, here's John, this is my buddy John, and he's got a radio show, and he started listening, or whatever. Or
Yeah.
a lot of people knew me. I had the Astros, and I had the Texan sideline, and I was doing all kinds of stuff. So that certainly helped. But you got to cultivate. You got to cultivate. You got to put time into it. And you got to put time into those relationships that you really is difficult to do, especially we had young kids, and I had two jobs. My wife was getting her career going at Channel 13, and now she's the general manager of it. She started near the
Yeah.
bus. She was a producer for the Deborah Duncan show, and she worked her way up. She was so good and whatnot. But while she's doing that, and we've got two young kids, and I'm out in the streets, and I'm trying to hustle up business. That's just the way. It's just you got to put those hours in.
How long did it take? Because that's the other thing I'm being told is, I'm 3 years into full time on air. I was on Sundays, but that was just, I really feel like that was my A ball or double A, triple A ball where I was learning. But now that I'm doing this, everybody's like, well, it takes time too. You got to build up clientele and build up that. I'm like, fuck, I'm ready to make some serious money. I'm ready to do like everybody else, but I'm being patient. But fuck, man, sales is not easy. I used to be in sales, and that's why I'm not in sales anymore.
No. Well, how long does it take? I mean, I started way back in the day, and my story is I started in the smallest television station in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Really? So you went the traditional kind of what you always hear about route, right? Which is you got to start in a small town, small market, catch a break.
Yeah, I started in Houston, Texas on a radio show. I didn't get to Houston until I was, I wasn't that far into it, but I certainly paid my dues. I got a girl pregnant back in '87, and I said I was bartending. I was waiting tables. I was just fucking around in Phoenix, and I said, "Holy shit, I got to do something." And this actually made me actually go. So I went up to Flagstaff, and I had a tape, and I said, "Hey, I want to be your weatherman." And they
No
said, and
shit.
no,
Weather?
hey, yeah. Well, they had an opening for weather. That's all they had.
Okay, so you're like, fuck it.
It's the smallest market, and it pays nothing, less than nothing. And I said, "Hey, I want to be your weatherman." And he said, "Well, your accent's a little much for us, okay? But we do have a photographer job open." I said, "I'll take it."
Really?
So I'm shooting video, and I'm doing, and actually they let me do a story of a murder. A family got abducted, and I did. There was no reporter, so I actually got to do it, and it was fine. And then the weekend sportscaster left, and I said, "That's my job." And she said, "You know what? We'll put you on the air."
Now, let pause for just a second. One, was this always a goal of yours to get into radio or TV or media?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I majored in languages at Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what the fuck I was going to. But I played football there, and I said, "You know what? I want to get into sports. I want to do sports broadcasting. So I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I want to be
Because
Kurt Gowdy."
I was wondering where the
Right.
tape come from, because if you don't just get a fucking
No.
tape. You had
No,
an
then
audition tape.
I went to a school that just a small school that a broadcast school, and actually got the teacher pregnant. So
Okay, pause. No. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What? You slept with your teacher in college?
how do you think you get fucking grades? Okay. How am I going to get out of the class?
How
Okay.
old was she, John?
She was actually younger than me.
Oh, what?
Well,
Wow.
yeah, she was younger.
What were you,
Well,
like
she was just out
40
of
in
Purdue
college?
University, and she was teaching broadcast. She just got out of Purdue, and anyway,
Was it
it
night
worked out
school? Like, how old was she? 50 or 60? God bless.
fine. No, she was
So great.
24. Yeah, she was just out of college.
You're just out here banging professors and having kids and making TV. You're just
Yeah, somebody's
literally
gotta-
my hero. How do you
So-
think you get grades? You're dropping so much knowledge. Get sales, get grades. I'm under who can I bang to get a sponsor? That's what I need to do. Sorry, honey. I need to get a check.
I'm sorry, honey. All right.
Oh my God.
So,
Okay.
Well, it's better you sit with that dildo in your face all night, every night. What is that thing? Good Lord,
Shut
man.
up. Don't fucking shut up. All right. So, okay. I just, there was so
anyway.
much to absorb right there that you were just going to just skip past. I just could not. All right. So you get the weekend sports.
My ass. I got, pregnant. I got to have a baby. So we go, and I get this weekend sportscaster job, and I was, by the time the female left and a guy came in, news director, and I'm on the air, and I was horrible.
Did you have a thick accent or something, or
Well, no, I couldn't stop stuttering.
you stuttered?
No. Well, I could. When I was on the air, I would read the prompter, and and gag.
So you weren't born with a stutter, but you would just, when you had to read the prompter, you would stutter.
No, I was so nervous, and So no, it's a true story. It's a true story.
You're fucking with me right now. I feel like you were like, I really got to have a good story for Barry's live chat. What would be the most outlandish, craziest, unbelievable? Oh, I know. I fuck a college professor, get her pregnant. I go to Flagstaff where I'm tending bar. I miraculously get a tape. I get a job. I develop a stutter. I'm on TV.
It just happened.
So
This is
great.
my life. What the fuck? This is my life. What do you want to do?
Oh, this is the fucking best. Oh my God. Okay. So you're horrible.
So I'm horrible. He calls me up. I swear to God, calls me up on Friday. Goes, "We can't keep having this. Okay, you gotta fucking clean this up. I can't keep putting you on the air, dude." Saturday, I had a sportscast. I nailed it. I was funny. It was good. I nailed it. He was like, "That's it. You did it." A reporter says, "I just called Lafayette, Louisiana, and they don't have a reporter job, but they got a sports director job open." I said, "You should send him a tape." I said, "Done." See, we all looked out for each other. In that market, you're always looking for a job. Who can get a job? The guy before me that was a weekend sportscaster job, he got a job somewhere else. So I moved in there. So everybody's always looking. So I sent my tape. They fly one fucking show in my life I did well. One show.
And that was the tape you sent.
They fly me out. Here, wine and dine me. You want the job? Yeah. Yeah, I'll take it. Drive the family out. They were like, "Oh my God, we got a great sportscaster." I get on my first show.
And they're all in the producer in the control room going, "What the fuck?" He didn't do that on the tape.
It was awesome.
Did anybody pull you aside after your first show and be like, "Hey, what the fuck was that?"
They said, "What the?" They were like, I was like, "I'll get over."
I just need y'all to put some pressure on me. There's no pressure right now.
And it took a while. I got okay. I got comfortable. I was fine. And then it was okay. Then I got another job.
How long did it take to get comfortable?
It took a few months. They were like, "What the fuck did we do?" But I had a contract, 3-year contract.
3 years, and 3 months in, they're going, "Oh Jesus,
yeah.
We got
3 minutes. 3 minutes in there. What are you talking about? 3 months in. 3 minutes in, they were like, "What?
We fucked up. We're never getting anybody. We got Stuttering John over here."
Stuttering mother.
So you start doing well, I guess. There.
Yeah, started well and doing just fine. I built on a pretty good name. I was a color guy for the Raging Cajuns in Lafayette, and that was fun. And we had so much. I want to tell you, that was the most fun I ever had broadcasting because we called ourselves the Road Dogs, and we traveled with the football team, and we got wasted. Just so much fun. I swear to God, so many fucking games. I was
in the booth
doing the color like this. Oh my God, please.
In the booth, just please don't. Please, nobody do anything. I gotta explain, bro.
Please. Yeah, it was a good run.
You were literally Brockmeyer.
I was. Yeah. I never watched it, but I do. I heard.
He's a drunk that he would just be in the booth, just fucking hungover. He would party with, not that you did coke, but he would party with coke and beer and strippers and fucking donkey shows, and then just go and be like, "Oh, I can't do radio. I can't do play-by-play." You were fucking Brockmeyer, John.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the show, but yeah.
God damn
it. Without the donkey show, I never been to a donkey show. Oh yeah. Okay. Green Bay's a big, it's a pro town. I've never been to a pro town. So you go to a pro town. When I was there for 3 years, it was the longest decade of my life. It was fucking horrible.
What was the worst part? The fat chicks or the snow?
Those two. Both of them. There's no culture. There's no food. There's no nightlife. There's the Green Bay Packers, and they're a bunch of assholes because they own the town, and they're assholes, and they hate the media, and they were dicks, and they weren't very good at the time when I was there. And and it's fucking freezing cold. Now I made some good friends, and a buddy of mine. So I got divorced when I was there. Listen, the girls are fat, but they're willing. Okay.
Is that literally your standard? Willing? You're like, you in? Yeah. I'm in. Fuck it. You got pulse and willing.
They're enthusiastic. They have to be. Okay.
As is the case with most big girls. Oh God, that's so fucking. They're willing. I wonder if they put that on their Tinder profile. Willing. Like, fuck a swipe
There
right.
was no Tinder. There was just, hey, that's all. That's all. It was like, swipe right? No, it was just, that's, yeah. Come on.
Oh, this
So,
is so great.
so that was good. But a buddy of mine owned a great bar, McSwiggan's. I ended up moving in with him, and we became drunks and watched and just doing. And then I ended up getting fired from there.
Was this the first time you've been
Because-
fired in media?
First,
Okay.
yeah, first time. The only time I think I've ever been fired from a job, other than my father firing me from his liquor store. Other than that, but
For
yeah,
stealing.
that's another story.
Oh, we're
Anyway.
getting to all these. I got to write these down. All right.
Yeah.
Stole from his
So-
father.
So,
Okay.
so I ended up living with him, and it was, and I got fired. I called the GM an asshole. I told him he was an asshole. He lost me a lot of money. We were going to do the James Camp and Leroy Butler show. I was doing the Don Mikowski television show. You remember Don Mikowski? He was the team, the Magic show. We did it in a mall. I got extra pay for it. Well, Magic left. He was no good anymore, so he got replaced by Brett Favre. And so we were going to do the James Campton and Leroy Butler show, but he announced it to the media before they signed, and both guys pulled out and said, "Oh no, we're not doing that." And I was like, "You're an asshole. You fucked up money for me." And so he fired me. I got fired for telling the truth. I always say I got fired for telling the truth. He was an asshole. He was a. Do you remember Tom Snyder, the old television? He smoked on the air. And he did a television show. Anyway, he talks about this guy, Bill Fife, who was this
God,
guy.
why does that name sound familiar?
Bill Fife was the head of, I want to say, CBS News in New York. Then he was in Chicago. And he worked his way. He was so shitty. He worked his way all the way down to Green Bay as the general manager. And that's the guy I get. And he was a dick. And I ended up getting fired by him because he was a dick. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I said, it was Mother's Day. And it's fucking snowing.
Of course.
On Mother's Day, which is next week, May, snowing in Green Bay. I packed up my shit the next day and I left. And I ended up, I had an agent and he told me about Houston opening up an all news station. And I came here and we opened up the all news station.
You had no job when you came? Or you got the job through the agent?
They hired me.
Okay.
I sent them my tape. I had a good tape.
Now you've got a good tape. You fixed the stutter. How did you fix the stutter?
I just stopped choking. That's all. You had to just because I got nervous.
Oh,
yeah, more reps.
Everything. So you would swallow like you would. Did you forget to breathe and shit?
Yeah. Yes.
That's so great.
You know how much better are you after your reps?
Yeah, that's true. No,
how many do you have to do? How many stand-ups do you have to do? And you get. What's your first stand-ups? You were shitty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I was pretty awful the first 6 months to a year. Yeah, no, that's a fact. It's everything. Anything you do, it's reps. Now, I don't know if I forgot to swallow or breathe while I was doing it.
Right.
I can see me on stage getting ready to do a punchline, and then
Right.
I'd be like, "What the fuck? Is this a Make-A-Wish night at the comedy club?"
What's wrong? You were Joker, right? Did you watch Joker? And you stand up? He was fucking, right?
People are like, "What the fuck?"
Right. I can imagine you being Joker your first.
I wasn't that bad, John, but it was pretty fucking yeah. Oh God. So you end up in Houston at what was it? 740? Was that the all? No.
51.
Oh, it was 51.
Channel 51. We got the Astros. So I was doing Astros pre and post for that.
That was pretty crazy.
And
see, for some reason I thought it was HSE, but it was 51. I said HSE.
No. No, but I did stuff.
You did HSE. Okay. I thought so.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah,
it
I
was
did
51, and how they got the Astros is beyond me. They just must have had hella investors.
for free. They did it for free. That's why. Because
Oh,
the Astros, yeah, right. And then they did a share of sales, which Channel 51 never sold anything, and they did all the sales.
right.
So and it was great. It was great. And the story of me and Lance getting together. Did Lance
So
tell you the
no,
story?
so you're at 51 and you're doing TV only, right? You're just doing Astro stuff.
Yeah.
Are you doing their sports
Well,
or
no, I had a TV show, Sports Night Live,
right?
that I was doing. I had Kenny Smith. Listen,
Sports Night
fucking
Live,
Kenny.
if I recall, and I don't. There was like I'm trying to remember the stage. It was bluish. It had a chair. It was a step up to the chair and a table or some shit. Like
That was the Astros postgame show.
okay,
But Sports Night Live we did in bars. We were in a
oh,
different
that's
bar all the
right.
time. Where I got with Nick's Place and Guadalajara and the
That's
sports
right.
resort in Sugarland.
Is that
So
how
I
you met
did
Nick from
all
Nick's Place?
for that. But the other thing that was the Astros post game show, which was we put about $4 into it. So that's our
Nice
set.
chair,
And so
step.
the chair, table next to me, right? And people would call in.
Oh, oh, it was
One
brutal.
guy one night after the Astros came, and he's like, "Why do we have all these ends
Oh.
in the lineup?" And I'm like, "Hey, what the? You're gonna? Can we?" And we had no delay.
delay, no dump, no nothing.
Nothing. It was like, yeah.
Oh my god! I need to go on YouTube and see if I can find old footage of Channel 50. Your face, I imagined, was just like, what the fuck is going on in this town?
That's you're a fucking asshole.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
Okay.
so did that, and so Russ Small, who worked for KTRH,
Yep.
Russ Small was asked by Dickie Rosenfeld to come over and do the morning show on 610. And I remember seeing Russ at the Shell Houston Open. And we were friends. Russ and I were friends. And he said, he said, yeah, I think I'm going to go over to 610 and do the morning show. Mike Edmonds and Ed Fowler were doing the show. We were old Chronicle. And Lance does a great impression.
Lance's Ed Fowler is fucking phenomenal.
Here in the Chronicle.
That's all he would fucking do, John. It's so accurate. It says here that it looks like
BK Singh is 2 over par.
It looks like Ward Moon threw for 340 yards, but that wouldn't be till fucking Wednesday. You wouldn't get the stats Sunday.
I know, and that was their morning.
Yeah, they would literally read their columns to you. Here's a great article written by me.
So anyway, the Oilers were on KTRH 740, and Russ was doing a show with Charlie Palillo and Rich Lord, whatever their sports night show was on, and that was the first real sports show in Houston.
No, now I remember 740 having Joel Bushbaum. There used to be like Martini and Edmonds,
right.
I mean, then there was Joel Bush, but Joel Bushbaum for me is the very first sports talk I ever remember hearing. My dad used to drive me home. And I would
but
Sunday
Bushbaum
night
was on their show.
On whose show? Martini and Edmonds?
He was on. Joel Bushbaum was on with Charlie and Russ Small.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I guess I didn't.
And John was on there, and yes.
Wow.
So yeah, they would do a nightly, and I said I could do this. And so when I saw Russ out there, he said, "I'm going to do a show on 610." I said, "I want to do it with you." And he said, "Oh, that'd be great. Let's do it." And he went and told Dickie Rosenfeld, who was the legendary GM of 610. Legendary. Yeah. And so Dickie said, "Okay, that's fine." So then Laura Morris was the GM over KTRH. And she said, "No, Russ, you're staying." And she paid Russ to stay at KTRH. And so Russ called me and said, I'm not doing it. And then I called Dickie, and Dickie said, "Well, come on in." And he said, well, who do you want? And I said, well, I'll take Lance.
Because you guys
And
tell the story about how you guys met. Because Lance kind of told it, but I have a feeling since Lance did it till now, these chats have grown and new people are listening. And we can't assume everybody's gone back and watched the live chat with Lance. But how did you learn about Lance? And
oh, well, so Lance was watching my Sports Night Live. That was in bars. It was a joke. It was like the worst. It was like, I guess it was the worst.
It was just a great excuse to do TV and drink.
A lot of times I'd be shit faced, okay, on the show. Okay, I play golf all day.
Super surprised, John.
My producer, it was so funny. It was Alan Lidback, who was, he's a good friend, and he was our producer. He was my producer. But, okay, I've got Roger Clemens coming tonight. Oh, awesome. Yeah, he can't come. So we're going to have a golf pro on. What the fuck? We go from Roger Clemens to fucking golf pro. So okay. And then Alan would tell me, okay, I wouldn't know who okay, I got this guy. He's here and he lives here in Houston. He played at Duke. Well, he really played in North Carolina. But Alan, there was no fucking Wikipedia. So
I'd be fuck.
Like, tell me about Duke. Well, I went to North Carolina. Yeah, that's what it's right next to it.
I bet you were so dude, people don't understand how awful you feel when you fuck stuff up like that with somebody.
I'll go.
Like today, Joel got Bill Whittington on our show today, and I'm like, so was it, I forget what I asked him, but he was like, oh yeah, that was the years I wasn't there. I was like, oh, fuck. You feel awful, man. I was like.
They're worse because you're supposed to know.
Yeah.
And you don't fucking
know. You feel terrible.
Dumb. But this was, at least you can look up now.
Yeah.
Right? Then you couldn't look anything up. There was nothing. There was nowhere to look. There's nothing. I didn't even have a fucking stupid phone. Nothing. So anyway, so we would do this, and I knew it was just, but people were watching. People would. You
guys were getting ratings?
So fun. I hear so many people that would tell me. But we were most famous for, I would do Friday night high school highlights, and we actually put something into that. We had 8 photographers go out to different, and that was, and I knew that would create a niche for us, is because the other stations, they were some into it, but they had 3 minutes. I had a half hour, and I would get coaches on, and I would do interviews, and it was actually pretty freaking good. And so many kids tell me, I used to watch and I would be on. I was on your show. I was on your high school highlight show. Anyway, so that was Friday nights. But Lance saw me, and he called me out of nowhere, and he said, listen, I got a service, and I pick games. So I'd like to come on your show and pick games.
Just out of
NFL
nowhere.
Games.
Just random call. You don't know who this cat is.
And I was like, done.
Content.
I don't care.
Fuck it. You're like, somebody else to talk? Done.
Better.
You don't even know if he's good at it.
From Duke that I never even fucking met.
But you don't even know if he's good at it. He could have been like, he literally could have been fucking, what's his name? The Hammer Valley. He literally could have been.
Yeah. Tony the Hatchet Man.
Tony the Hatchet Man.
Actually, Hatchet Man would have been awesome.
Yeah, Hatchet Man would have been fucking great. But you have no idea, but you're like, fuck it, content. Come on.
Come on. What? I needed to fill time. I like this. Now it was an hour. We were doing an hour every night because it was the only thing on Channel 51 that we sold.
Really?
Again, the only thing that anyone sold.
Right back to the beginning
was that
when you talked about sales in this business, right?
So we were doing an hour, and I was like, yes, come on. And he did it, and we, started to get along. And I met him, and Chris Solis came out, and we got to be friends and whatnot. And so, and he was working for he was interning for 610. Lance tell you that he worked for Barry Warner? Did he tell you this?
I don't recall that.
He was interning for Barry Warner, and Barry Warner would get 0 phone calls. So he would tell during the break, hey, what the fuck? You guys call in. Lance, call the show. So I got something to talk about. And Lance would do different voices on Barry Warner's show as callers.
Oh my God, he
True.
never told us that. That is fucking priceless.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because Barry would get no calls, so he had Lance call in with different voices.
Oh my God, John, that is the fucking best.
I said, I want Lance. And he said, okay, partner, I got Lance. And so we started the morning show.
And this was at Star 610, right? It was Star 610 at the time? Okay.
Yep. And Dickie hated the show.
Really?
Hated us.
Did y'all not have a plan? Were you just like real loosey-goosey, whatever the fuck?
That's what we were. And he hated it because it wasn't, Rich and Charlie. Well, actually, it was Kenny and Rich at the time on the afternoon show. And Jim Rome.
Yep.
And Jim Rome was the biggest thing in Houston.
That's how I found you guys, is because I used to paint apartments and listen to Jim Rome, and then I happened to be working one morning and plug, because I would go in kind of mid-morning, but I turn on the radio and listening to you guys, and I was like, oh, that's my shit now. So I would literally listen all day, but it was because of Rome, because he was if you didn't listen back then, you have no idea how big Jim Rome was. I mean, cultish big.
Right. Oh no,
like Stern big, fun. But for sports. I mean, to do a tour stop.
We did. The first one was at the racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was at Minute Maid, and he had almost half the fucking building.
Yeah.
And the first one was at the Sam Houston Race Park, and we were there, and they wanted me and Lance to introduce. And I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. That's all fucking. These are, what do they call them?
The jungle clones.
Yeah.
Clones. They were clones.
All his clones.
Yeah.
And we would get calls on our show. And we would go, okay, wrong show, dude.
Out, rack them.
Rack them. Then we rack them. But it turned into, then it was like, Rome started to fade, and it was like, we, really picked up.
Well, now, so from the beginning, because I want to go back, because I'm really interested in how you, because listen, John, and I'm not just sucking your dick because you're on the live stream, but you guys changed the landscape of sports talk in this city, because it was the Ed Fowlers. And I'm not, no offense to Charlie, but, with Charlie and Russ and Rich and Ed and, Kenny Hand, all those guys were very, like, read you a box score, talk. Yeah. What did you and Lance do or decide or talk about where it was like, let's just fucking have fun. Let's just, whatever we do, we do. If it's sports, it's sports. If it's not, it's not. If it's a voice from Lance or a story from you, or how did the genesis of that happen?
I don't think it ever was. I don't think we ever. I think it just evolved. So there was a guy named Ed. So Dickie hated the show because it wasn't like
traditional sports.
Rome, and it wasn't like Ed Fowler, and he got complaints from his buddies that were at his country club because they were 90 years old, and they fucking hated the show because we would talk, and he got complaints. I remember I told a story about my son. JT was just a baby. He was 3-4 months old. We traveled to Chicago, and for whatever reason, we brought the baby bag, and we got on the plane, and JT shit all over, and he shit, and we were like, oh man, look at, holy crap, and we go in the diaper bag, and there's nothing. We were like, oh fuck, what did we do? Where's the diapers? So we were like, oh shit. So we cleaned him up as best we could, and we got a blanket, and we wrapped him in the blanket and put the pillow. I don't know the pillow, and we put it underneath so he could And so we wiped him with the blanket or some shit, and then we put the. And so I told the story in the air, and the moral of the story is never get one of those fucking blankets from the airline because they could have shit on it.
They could have baby shit all.
Baby shit all over it. So,
that's so good.
Mattress Mac calls up Dickie and he says, I'm trying to eat breakfast here, and these guys are talking about shit on an airplane, and Dickie comes, hey, partner, hey, so I got listen. I'm gonna get you guys somebody that's gonna help you with your show, okay? And he brought in this guy, Ed something was his name, and he comes in and he's like, okay, John and Lance, listen, here's what we're gonna do. John, you're the older brother, and you're gonna and Lance is the younger brother, and Lance is always just messing up, and so you gotta straighten him out. And we were like,
What the?
Ed Shane,
Who?
Ed Shane,
Who?
Ed Shane.
Oh God.
And so we're gonna straighten him out, John. And I was like, and we realized we're like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. We were like, what the fuck? The fuck out of here. So we both went, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Really? Because that's 1950s radio.
Yeah.
The older is gonna straighten him. And yeah, Lance, you're always getting yourself in a mess.
You're in a pickle.
Like,
yep. Are you sore at me, John?
Yeah.
Fuck?
So we were like, fuck out of here. And we just did our show. And then all of a sudden, it just took off. And I remember Mark Klein. Mark Klein was the biggest indicator for me because Mark Klein, I knew he was a jewelry store guy, and I knew him. And I was like, Mark, you got to advertise. And he was like, nah, I can't. I'm just a small guy. I'm just I can't advertise on the radio. I can't do that. I can't afford that shit. And so he finally got on, and it just blew up. He was like, holy fuck, let's do a Christmas show. Let's do a Christmas show at my place. And all of a sudden, it was like, oh my God. From the first year, we did it inside, and there were all these people, and we were like, what the fuck? And then for like the third year, there were 300, 400 people out there in the parking lot, and we're kicking footballs, and it was like, what the shit? We got something going here. It turned into something. It was
so
different.
You guys, you're asked to do the big brother, little brother, and you agree to it, but you don't do it.
No,
right? You're like,
we just.
So at what point did you guys did you ever have a conversation like, hey, I think we're onto something here. If we just stay loose and keep fucking around and be ourselves, yeah, we talk sports, but
No, I think the sales department finally is the one that convinced management. They were like, oh, they're fine. Leave them alone because I'm selling them. And then it came to, and then and like I told you before, I brought some people in. I got some, and listen, and Lance got some people in, and it was like, hey, people want to advertise on this show. Leave them alone. And that's when management will leave you alone. Yeah. Here's a word to the wise. Management won't fuck with you when you bring shit to the table. When you bring
I gotta go get some shit.
That's
to the table.
I'm telling you, you could have the best show in the world. If it doesn't sell, beat it. You could have the shittiest show in the world. If it sells, you'll be on forever.
And there's people that have been in this market a really long time because of that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a fact. No. There's guys I look at and think,
How do you? Well, I don't want to. But how do you think Barry Warner stayed on forever? He brought a car advertiser, and he brought
liquor. Right?
Who?
He would bring a liquor like a beer or something.
Yeah, he brought a car, and he brought, I think, Jim, for whatever reason I'm thinking Jim Crane, but he brought something else to the table. A car. He brought a car and a something else. Anyway, and we're like, I don't give a shit how shit he is. He's bringing money.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get money in.
Yeah.
That happens.
So when did you know that you guys were like it was almost a cult? Let's be real. When there's this big buildup at 610 where you guys are pretty much just dominating the market here in sports. When did you guys know we got something?
We did a 5th anniversary party where we did with our list, and we had some fucking characters. You think Gilbert? Gilbert?
I know Gilbert. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you think Gilbert's a character? We had so many people that would call in, Larry and oh my God, I can't even think of all their names. It was just, but and Cowboy Bill, and there were so many freaking guys that would Collie, who was
That was
we had
he was in Slapfest at 1560,
the
right?
racist, the white racist,
Uh-huh.
and Collie, the black
Yep.
militant, and Jason from Waco, who was a nut job, and Larry and Stafford, and we had another Larry that was just
But
anyway.
you
So we had
guys,
all
but
these
you
kids.
guys embraced this, and I remember this because I
Yeah,
remember you guys were. I mean, Rome did it, but you guys were also one of those where you kind of made the callers part of the show. You made
yeah,
the listeners became like if it was a sitcom, they became bit players, they became characters.
yeah.
And John, I'm honest with you, and I'm not sucking your dick because you're on the live chat, but this is what when I got into radio, you and Lance and Fred and AJ were like what I wanted to be. I wanted if I could combine what the two of those shows did, along with, and I loved Palillo. That's why I'm a numbers guy. But I felt if I could take some of those things that you guys did, and that's why I'm so adamant about the chat and the tweets and getting the listeners involved in the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you got OU Mike, your best
Oh my
friend.
God, that
So
motherfucker. He's a psycho. He's a fucking psycho. He's a racist, psycho, stalking weirdo. I wish he'd just go fuck himself and stop. Like, he still calls the show, John. Still. I'm like, bro, it's been 2.5 years. Why the fuck do you still call between 1 and 4?
he calls us all the time and drops a berry on it. Like, dude, give it up.
I am like, you always heard Rome talk about being in somebody's dome. I swear to God, I think he jerks off to pictures of me from the internet. It feels that way. He's fucking weird. It's that level.
Ma, meatloaf. I need some more wine.
Are you gonna go get some more? But okay, so you guys have built this following. Because I want to get to 1560 because that was monumental in this market too. Yeah, you're gonna have to get on the move now, aren't you? So you guys, what happened at 610, John? I never really learned, but you guys are rolling. Like you are rolling. You've cornered the market. What happened?
So there was a management group. They weren't great. It wasn't good, and I wasn't happy. I'm not going to mention any names, but they were. They know who they are, but it was not great. And there was a guy that was the general sales manager, and he and I said, "Let's go start our own place. Let's see what we could do." And we had a couple of different opportunities. And then David Gow came along, and so we said, "Let's jump on it." And there was one thing I regret is that I couldn't because tortious interference. So if I went, our general sales manager went, Lance went, and we were taking other people, Chance, and we were taking, we would have tortiously interfered with 610. So the decision was made, John, come, and we'll get Lance, and we did, but it was poorly done, in that I walked in, they fucked me on some money.
610.
They owed me 610. I signed a new contract, and my spot rate went up $5.
Uh-huh.
And actually, they were only paying me the old rate for months and months and months. And so I was like, "Hey, you guys owe me a couple $1,000s. I didn't even realize you're still only paying me 20, 20 a spot. It's supposed to be 25." This was 12 years ago. Anyway, so they were like, well, that we missed it. We'll just start now. I said, no. It's in my contract. You owe me this money. They were like, nah. And the general manager there said, "No, we're not paying you."
Wow.
"Oh, really? Watch this. I'm out of here. Fuck you."
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of breach of contract, right? I mean, yeah.
So I got a lawyer, a buddy of mine who I didn't have to pay, which was awesome. And
It's always
he
a
said, actually, no, you know what? They breached your contract. They're not going to pay you. You told them they won't pay you. You can leave. And so I did. And
Did they
that's
fight
the
you?
only.
Did they try to fight you in court or try to fight you?
They tried to pay me more. They
Oh,
actually tried, and they were like, but I had already made the commitment to. Well, I called Sean Pendergast and Johnny Harris, and I got that afternoon show together. I called Ken Hoffman. I called David Nuno, and I got this whole lineup set. And so they said, um, and Lance was coming. Lance didn't know anything about it. That was the one regret was that Lance, I took him by surprise, and he was like, "What the fuck? What are we doing? What are you doing?" And so that's my one regret is that Lance couldn't be in on because of tortious interference.
yeah.
I had to get we couldn't take that many people. Chance had to wait. He couldn't come. We hired Frank Bullington,
Uh-huh.
Frank and Chank. You know
Yeah,
the
yep,
Chank
yep.
thing, which was
Blue
awesome.
Light Cemetery show. I
Yes,
bought a
we had
fucking
an
fog
awesome.
machine for that show, John. As a listener, I bought a fog machine for a radio show. That's how much I loved 1560. I swear to God, that's a true story. I bought them a fog machine but they were one of the first shows to ever stream. 1560 was one of the first. Because I
Yeah,
remember you guys had like strippers or some shit in there, and you would stream it, and it would break the. Yeah.
Hoffman had the stripper on the
Yep.
desk. It
Yep.
was if I think we did it right. If we could have been heard, if 1560 was a good signal, we would still be doing what we were doing. We would be bigger than the what's the in Dallas
The ticket or the
the
fan,
ticket.
or I don't know. It's one of those. It's either a ticket or a fan.
We'd be bigger than the ticket if we had a signal.
Yeah, and that was.
It was so unique.
Dude, what you guys did, and this is how, like, I was always into sports talk with Rome and listening to you guys, but when I found 1560, it was so different, and it was so what I wanted to listen to. You guys tapped into a market of 20 to 40s guys that were craving just more than box scores, and the whole station embraced it, and it was fucking amazing. I can't even imagine what some of the meetings were like, or what it's just unbelievable. Now, how did you meet David Gow? Because that's one thing that kind of like, how did you? Because that's an important part of all this too.
Yeah. How did I meet David Gow? Somehow, here's what David Gow was going. Actually, this started as 1560 started as David Gow was going to do a news station on 1560, and Richard Topper, who was the general sales manager over it, and he and I were looking for a station, and we met with a couple of other guys, and then Topper told me, he said, "There's this guy, David Gow, and he wants to start up a station." And he's got this plan of combining stations, and he's going to get this going. We have to go convince him. Fuck news. He's got to do sports. And anyway, he knew me, and we met at Stephen Webster's house. I don't know, you don't know who Stephen Webster is.
I've heard the name.
He's our big. He's the one who owns most of our company of Gow Media. Anyway, went over there, and we met him at his house, and he was a listener, and he was just like, "Yeah, John, you know what? This is going to be awesome. I'm in." And I was like, "Holy shit! This billionaire knows who I am, and wow, this is cool."
That's outstanding.
And actually, it was so funny. So we talked a couple of times. So we went to Buffalo Grill on Bissonnette. And Stephen Webster, David Gow, Richard Topper, and me. And Stephen Webster, who was the big money, he looks at me and he goes, "Are you in?" And I go, "I'm in." And he goes,
You didn't start stuttering?
he goes, "Topper, are you in?" He goes, "I'm in." "Gow, you in?" He goes, "All right, David, I'll write you a $10 million check tomorrow." And I went, I wish I had a nickel for every time I heard that, because I'd have a nickel.
Wow.
Right. I'll write you a $10 million check tomorrow.
That's insane.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of cool. He was like, he asked me first. I was like, I'm
Well, that
in.
has to feel good. I was going to say, because really, John, all of this exists then based off of reputation that you had built in the
Well,
market.
I don't,
I
I don't know
mean,
about
no,
that. It was
that's
David.
John.
It was
I
David.
appreciate you being humble and all that, but let's be real. The first question was, "Are you in?" And if the answer would have
Yes.
been no, there's no 1560, there's no ESPN
Well,
radio, and at least
right.
not that
Well,
route.
not that route. Not that route. They would have done something, but without us.
Sure, and it
But it
probably
was
wouldn't have been sports.
no, it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
sports. It was they were going to do something else, and we actually convinced them, and they were. It was right. They were going to do some fucking stupid new shit, and I don't know that this is the best business model. What with as many sports stations as we have and everything else, we splintered the market is what we did though. Because listen, 610 has we branded them.
Mm-hmm.
We branded 610.
Mm-hmm.
And so 610 still has the name. Still 610 people, they're sheep. They still go to 610. They talk Texans every fucking segment. And they have to talk Texans every segment. And you know what? They got great ratings. This last book, oh, great, great. But you know what? We're the ones that made 610 what 610 is.
Uh-huh.
The Charlie Palillo, the Rich Lords, the Kenny Hands, the me and Lance and Ed Fowlers and all those people, that was the sports station. And when we left, when Lance and I left, it splintered the whole thing. Then it opened up. 790 was nothing then.
Right.
Nothing. And 97.5 was not even, it's non-existent. Non-existent. We were the station. And then all of a sudden it opened up the whole market for everybody.
Yeah.
For 3 stations. And we were 1560 when we started, like months into it. We had the time spent listening must have been record setting. We didn't have the total numbers, but when we looked at the ratings, our listeners were so dedicated to us
Yes.
that the time spent listening, like you said, you would listen all
Dude.
day. Our people listened all week
We
long.
would get in the goddamn message boards, John. You remember the message boards? I mean, I won a mug award for fuck's sake from the message boards, John. That's how fucking insane it was. Like I remember that. I remember I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna win an award. This is so fucking cool. I'm up for
at the 5th anniversary party.
Yeah, the mug awards. I think I won 2 mug awards because there was 2 mug awards.
Well, there was one at a theater and then one at the Warehouse Live.
There was the Warehouse Live and the theater, and I won at the Warehouse Live.
Warehouse Live.
That's the one I won an award at. But it was fucking insane. And I was so on board with what you guys did. So when I tell you that I want to build that I'm trying to build that, it comes from a place of honesty because I was so into what you guys did and I loved it. The freedom that you had on radio and how you guys were, you were real, and that comes from you guys, man. It was so game changing, especially in Houston. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah. I appreciate that. It was. Remember the second Slap Fest?
Was that at the bus?
Holy fuck,
dude! That's the first of all.
I've got an old picture of that. At the whole place.
1560 shirts.
See, that's another thing. The Academy Sports and Outdoors printed our shirts. You know why? Because I played golf with the guy who bought advertising, him and a vice president. And we played golf together. And he goes, and I go, you know what? We need a T-shirt. You need to sell our T-shirts. And he said, how the fuck are we going to sell radio T-shirts? I go, fucking, they'll sell them. Trust me. They made 1,500 T-shirts, and they were like gone in 2 days. I swear to God, they were gone. And he was like, oh my God,
I went and bought a
what are you
couple.
doing?
I'm telling you, dude, it was the craziest, most unbelievable thing. And you know what? After it all, I didn't see it again until Fred and AJ. The Blitz really kind of brought that back. Yeah. That almost cultish like following of they love the show, love the station. Like that had died for a while when everything splintered again with 1560 and Lance and yeah.
Well, didn't they do be a sportscaster.
Rock the mic. Rock the mic.
Rock the
That's
mic.
how I'm
Did
here.
you do
That's
that?
how I'm here, John. I won, I don't know, 2013 Rock the Mic, and they gave me a 6-week trial on Sunday. Yeah, 2013 Rock the Mic, I won. John Wessling had just, oh no, Anson Ainsworth had just been fired for getting drunk and riding a camel and then cursing out everybody at St. Houston Race Park. So they fired him. So they're like, well, we'll let the Rock the Mic winner try it for 6 weeks. So I win Rock the Mic, and Dave Tepper goes, listen, you got 6 weeks. If you suck, you're gone. Enjoy your prizes. If you don't suck, maybe we'll let you stay and we'll see what happens. And that was 7 years ago. And
How about that?
I mean, I'm like, it's funny because some of the folks like Christina and some of the salespeople are like, you're our Cinderella story. Like, you shouldn't be here. I mean, it's 6th largest media market. It's a really cool thing, man. But this is why I'm so into the culture and the opportunities and what we do, because it's so different than any other place. But yeah, Rock the Mic, Slapfest, the Christmas party. This is just all legendary shit, man. And it all came from you and Lance deciding, fuck it, we're not going to read box scores. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So do you look back? Do you have any regrets outside of the signal? Do you have any regrets looking back?
Well, no, I'm glad we left. If you want to know the truth, if we were still at 610, I don't know that I don't know that we still would be. Anytime you're at some place, because we would be 23 years there now. And I remember seeing people that were there for 20 plus years, and they just said, you know what, you make too much money, get out. But I kind of, listen, if Lance and I had stayed, we probably wouldn't have brought on all this competition. Probably wouldn't have. And we probably could have lived a good life and everything else. It was not a great work environment, though. It really wasn't.
Yeah.
When 1560 was the best. I'm proud to say, and I'm not management anymore there. I was management there. But I'm proud to say that it was the best place. And you ask anybody, Chance or Frank or Sean can't say that now because he's over at 610. Johnny Harris can't say it now because Bill O'Brien will fire him. You ask any Ken Hoffman won't say it because
but Nuno would say it. I mean, Rahil's back.
He works at Channel 13, and my wife would fire him.
Yeah, true.
The best place that they worked, the most fun, and the most creative, and the most it was 1560. There was no question about that. No question.
Unbelievable. Now, take me through a little bit of what. So 1560 is. It's so niche. It's so different, and people don't know how to take it. But you guys are building this cult following, and at some point, the wheels start to come off a little bit. What was it that caused that? Money.
Well, first of all, the signal, and second, and then the money. We had to have money, and I think that there was what the wheels came off with Tim Brando. Tim Brando. We acquired sports. What was it? Sports. I forget what it was called. Anyway, we acquired a network. I forget what those called.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a fucking nightmare. They were bleeding money, and we acquired them for nothing except their debt, and we got their talent. And so, because we acquired the network. Because 1560 wasn't, because we couldn't sell it because of the signal, it was difficult. We acquired a network, so we expanded our Gow Media. We acquired a network. Well, their prime product was Tim Brando, and so we had to put him on our air, and it was just oil and water, and it was just pissed off so many people, and it was like, no, I want my radio station back. And Tim Brando was old school. He was reading the scores, and he used to. I have in my hands an email. Well, nobody has in their hands a fucking email. What are you talking about?
I still remember that.
Yeah, you're like, what the?
He would make that into a bit. It's like, bro, how are you turning something that doesn't exist into a fucking bit? What are you doing? And there would be like a sounding board, right?
Email, email. I mean, everybody's
He's
like,
got an email or some bullshit like that. Oh yeah. Okay, so that was kind of the beginning
well,
of uh-oh.
and so our listeners that were accustomed to us, it just, and then Lance was like, this is falling apart. I got to go. And actually, if you want to know the truth, we have so much good money behind us. I mean, so much. I can tell you stories. Anyway, we got so many. I mean, our people, the people, and I shouldn't have mentioned their name probably, but they're great, great, great. This is the best group. David Gow, and I'm not sucking him off either, but working for David Gow and working for the Websters has been the best. Because I've worked for some assholes. I told you. I worked in Green Bay for a real asshole.
Yeah.
And so
No, I agree with you 1,000%. Working for David Gow, I mean, dude, you know how we do. Like, there are times when people have called the station complaining on. Well, I mean, they complain, I'm sure, on you guys. They complained on the Blitz. There was segments we did about eating ass that people called the front in there, and David's like getting Jong to pull the audio. And I never heard from David. He handled it through Jong, but he gave us and he gives us the freedom to be creative. It's just the best, man.
Lance and I, just a couple months ago, almost lost the ESPN network.
And it was just like,
David was like, I was like, yeah, we kind of fucked up, dude.
Our bad.
And he was like, all right. He was like, I'll figure it out. And he did.
He did. Just like he does. He's the best, man.
Listen, where we were at 610 and where we are now with that, there's night and day. And so I don't regret it. The only thing, the hardest thing has been the signal.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's weird because I'm guessing it took a long time to get to where we're at, but now we're winning ratings, which was unheard of with 1560. You didn't even rate hardly, and then even when 97.5, it was difficult, and the Blitz started to gain some traction, and then you get brought over, and and then the reunion in Palillo, and then Joel and I show up, but it's been this slow increase, this slow climb, and now we're a legitimate player in the market where the other stations people are losing their jobs because of us. Right. And so so I imagine you would have loved to have seen this back with 1560 and it's not the same, but it's pretty close. I mean, it's really close. We do, crazy shit across the station and it's the same vibe, not exactly the same culture, but so I imagine it's got to be a little selfishly. It's got to be every once in a while you look back and go, cool. This is kind of what the vision was.
Listen, this is much better. Listen, I couldn't work at 610 right now. I mean, honestly, where you have to talk Texans every fucking segment. Yeah. It's like, are you kidding me? Really? I got to talk. Wait a minute. I mean, but Dusty, and listen, they did well in the ratings this last. Okay,
sure,
great. And you know what I don't want to listen to? That.
Yeah.
That.
Well. It's funny because they did well in the ratings, but I'm curious how that all plays out. Because you and I both know it's great when you win the books, and when you don't, you're like, I get it. You know what the real game is. But
listen, Lance and I, last year at this time, we had like a 7-1 stretch where we were number one, and I didn't mention it. You know why? Because the fucking ratings are stupid. Because 30 people are deciding what the whole city is listening to.
Yeah.
It's serious.
Yeah.
30 people. If you lose a book, you lost 3 ratings points.
Yeah.
Depending on if it's African American or Asian or
age. You lost like 3 meters. Yeah.
Stupid. So 610, enjoy it because and I don't even want to talk. It's stupid.
It is.
It's stupid.
It is. It's what I was explaining this. I forget who I was talking to, but it was one of those things like for me and Joel, we were excited about it because of where we came from and what we've built. I mean, we started from scratch. So when we won our first book, and even now when we win a book, and I'm not just talking about it in our time slot, I think October we were number 1 in the city. And it was like, holy shit, we shouldn't even be here as bad as it was the first year off air. Like on air, we were pretty professional and tried to keep it going, but off air, it was a struggle and it was tough and it was difficult because we were oil and water. And so when we get good books, we're excited about it, man. But you also have to know it's not going to last. I mean, that's why I wasn't blowing smoke up their ass when what Fred and AJ did to win a book 12 months in a row in this market. Yeah. That's fucking crazy.
No, and we did too.
Yeah.
We were, and you know, but the deal, dude, you lose 3 books. 3 people changed the books. Yeah. You went from 1st to 8th.
Like that. Yeah. What do you think is next for us, John, in radio? Not just 97.5 but what do you? I mean, you've been in this business, you know this business, you've been a pioneer. What do you think is next?
I'll tell you what's next. A golf course in Florida. That's what's next for me. Okay?
Like, fuck this shit.
Fuck this shit.
Oh my God! Well, that's no time soon. This isn't breaking news, right? Like you're not going in. When do you want it? Do you want to hang around as long as Barry Warner?
It's hard to talk to you with this fucking thing right in front of you. Okay?
Do what?
It's hard to talk to you. It's hard to talk to you with this microphone right here.
This? Oh, you want me to?
Because it's like, yeah, that'd be great.
But you can't hear me now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It just seems like it's phallic. Just see, don't do that.
But I feel like you can't. I don't want to put my mouth on it. I don't even think I could fit my mouth over that. Okay, I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. This was fucking fascinating. Okay, but you're okay, and I'm gonna let you go.
That's the longest guest you've ever had?
Well, no. I went 2 hours with John Wessling, who, by the way, said he loves you and to tell you hello.
I love John Wessling. Was awesome. Unfortunately. You know, we try. You know,
shit happens. But he said, "Tell Granato I said hello. I love that dude."
John Wessling is a great. I follow him. He is funny.
John he's one of my comedy mentors.
Have you done a show with him?
I have several shows. Johnny helped me a tremendous amount and still does. If I have questions about the business, he's a resource for me in comedy because he's done a lot of stuff. So I use Wessling quite a bit as a and a friend. I mean, we're friends, but he's helped me a lot too.
Well, I didn't think he liked me because of he was on 1560 for a while, and then then he wasn't. Yeah. Some of that shit.
Well, but that's the business. I think he knew that's the business, and I mean, unfortunately, he wasn't paired with a guy that was conducive to having a good show and. So, anyways,
right.
Well, what is the plan for you? Do you have an idea? Because is it, be like Barry Warner and just fucking hang on until no one?
Yeah. No.
What are you going to do?
My wife makes too much money for me to hang on. Okay. So, no, I'm blessed there.
That is the best.
She's going to be working forever. So
you're making her.
No. How about this? She tells me, so you work till 11. Why don't you go buy a house and you can renovate it and you can and then you could sell it and
flip it.
And I'd say, because I don't want to fucking do that, okay? Because that's sounds like a lot of work. Why would I want to? I'm trying to get rid of this job. Why would I want to fucking do another job? Okay, this is what I'm trying to get out of. And you're trying to make me do another thing? Another job?
Is she just like, what the fuck? Am I your sugar mama? You're like, yeah. That's exactly right. Dude.
Go make money.
I know you need to refill your wine. This was so great. It was, look, everybody's like, we need to do a part 2. I don't know if there's going to be a part 2, but part 1.
There's no more stories. That's it. You got it all. Okay?
This was so great.
How many could I got more stories.
Do you?
I got more stories.
Well, we need to do this again then. It's so funny too because when I texted you, I was like, "Hey, John, will you do my show?" You're like, "No, fuck you. You had Lance first. Go fuck yourself."
Well,
and I was like, "Oh, fuck. No, that's not. I was just going in order of age. That's why you and Fred weren't until May."
Okay. Wait a minute. Where's Fred? Is Fred gone already?
Next week. Yeah, I haven't even done Fred yet. Yeah, Fred's next week. So I'm doing all hair transplants in the month of May. It's
hair transplant month.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just anybody that's had hair. Oh, it looks good. It looks good, man.
Look about that. Fucking Dr. Linville, 975hair.com.
Okay, listen.
975hair.com.
Always selling.
And How do you drive over there? In your Chastain Ford.
Go ahead. Just keep
And
going.
okay, and you stop at the Mayor's Barbecue in Nick's place on the way. Get shit faced, and then you call Terry Yates, your lawyer. Get you up.
John,
you stop at Watt to play golf first.
okay. It's enough. Dude, thank you so much for doing this, man. I appreciate it. I know the people do. The chat, I couldn't really get to the chat, but I didn't want to. This was the best.
Was anyone here, or was it just me and you talking?
No, the chat's been going crazy. That's why I tell you, like, they're asking for a part 2 and stuff. And I really appreciate you sitting down and doing this, man. This was outstanding and it was fascinating. I had never known all this. So this was great. Yeah. Johnny, I appreciate you, buddy. Everything you've done and do. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you, man. This was fun.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow.